Joey's Gaming here, and welcome back to another build video of mine. Now today we're going over our first actual level 60 Mayhem 10 build I've covered on the channel so far, and this is gonna be a Moze build. Now, Moze and Amara actually got buffed a lot. Well, they got nerfed and buffed at the same time with the Phase 2 patch that added action skill damage scaling. Because prior to this, we would go Stainless Steel Bear because that was action skill damage, Iron Bear basically, and it would boost Short Fuse. And Amara did the same with Do Harm and Ties to Bind. But it does not work this way anymore. Now, Short Fuse now scales with your main level. And knowing that, you can actually do insane amounts of damage with any build, because most builds are actually gonna spec into Short Fuse because it's just a nice pickup. Um, Now for this build, I'm really proud of it in general for two reasons. We have a spot for an artifact and any shield basically, while at the same time being at 1 HP. That's because we're going to go with a blood letter that has already 2 points into Thin Red Line, and we're gonna add 3 points in our skill tree, which is gonna put us at 1 HP. Now this combo with this class mod was brought to me by a friend of mine by the name of Anti on Discord. Huge shout out to him. Huge shout out to Illmatic, by the way. Huge shout out to Donny Hags. Huge shout outs to lots of people in the Volt Discord. I'll put a link in the pinned comment later today. Go join that Discord. It's amazing. People are so kind over there. People are looking out for people that are looking for stuff, and yeah, it's a really good Discord. You can actually join Moxie's Discord too, but that Discord is kind of dead because of the Volt Discord. So yeah, with this build, as you can already see, we have some pretty interesting weapons that you wouldn't see normally on a Moze build, which I'm really excited to show you guys. The Reflux and the Devastator. Let's just go over the Devastator first. I just got this like an hour ago, and it's with a bad anoint. Rolls are actually okay. The parts are actually like really good, if I recall. There's a little bit of things that could be better, but in general, it's a good Devastator with a bad anoint, and it still does actually like a lot of damage. It's not insane damage like most Mayhem 10, or like it's not Herald damage, of course. It's not Gargoyle damage. It's not Light Show damage. Uh, but it is still a lot of damage, and I'm actually really proud that this build makes some weapons work when they shouldn't, like the Reflux. You don't normally see like the Brainstormer or the Reflux on Moze, but with this build and with the Anoint we're currently using, you can actually do it. You can actually use a Reflux and mob extremely well. Enemies just go poof. I'll just show you in a second. Well, in a little bit of minutes, I'll go over our gear and our skill tree. So right now, I'm using the Chaos Sense, still level 57, with the URAD Anoint. The URAD Anoint is basically what holds this build together. Well, that and our blood layer and our skill tree. URAD is actually like really good. It's elemental damage, not instead of gun damage, so it's further down Moze's damage formula, which adds a ton of damage in the formula because it's multiplicative and other boring maths. You should go watch Z Karma if you want to listen to boring maths. I'm not the math expert here, But the Kerosene, a level 67 one, will still work. It will still shred through mobs. You can use either URAD with this or consecutive hits, but I'd recommend URAD because it's a flat 150 damage boost without stacking anything. Now the dowsing rod. This gun, I've got only a corrosive variant with the URAD anoint. I've got a next to mags incendiary for Iron Bear. This gun is absolutely amazing. With this gun, you have an underbarrel that will shoot some grenades, and these grenades do pretty good damage. It's actually like you can actually compare this to a launcher for mobbing. For bossing, it's a little bit lacking, but it still works. It still works. Next up, as I said, a reflux is really good. You can use the Devastator. You can use pretty much whatever you want. Light shows are really good. Herald splash damage really good. Gargoyle will melt anything armored. License is good. Just what I like to do with the license is just spray down every part of the body because you'll get crits, which will do stickies or ricochets. I don't remember. I think it's ricochets for crits and stickies for body shots. You'll get both basically if you hit crits and non-crits. It'll just do absolute absurd damage. You can one burst some troopers if you get the right burst. Well, the right burst impacts. Flipper is actually really nice. I if you don't like the Chaosin because it runs out of ammo every like 2 kills, the Flipper doesn't really run out of ammo that often, and it does insane amounts of damage. It's actually like one of the best damaging guns for Moze right now because the way this gun works is the longer you hold the trigger, the more pellets it'll spawn, up to 9 pellets in a like diamond shape. So this is pretty much the actual Sandok we needed. And all of these pellets can actually proc short fuse, which will pretty much guarantee a short fuse proc every hit, which will become insane once you get your pearl stack and everything. It's just insane. The flipper is insane on Mayhem 10. Hyper focuses. I've got a level 57 Mayhem 10 one corrosive with URAD. I've got a non-elemental with URAD. Both do amazing. As I said, the dowsing rod with 125. I've got monarchs actually work. They're not the great for bossing, especially with the modifiers I have, since I have less 75% crit damage, but they still work, and I include them in the build. Now, we still use a level 57 OPQ system. You can't get a level 61 because the Cardell is over, the Cardell event is over, but it still wrecks. It can melt enemies extremely fast. Just a great gun. Now we have the times 14 reflux. This one consumes a little bit more ammo. I rather have the times 7 to get my redistribution, proccing still, but actually like giving me more ammo sustain, basically. Now we have back burners here. These are for your bossing. These are more for the garden takedown slash Mellow one takedown because they do insane amount of damage. I'd rather keep these in my inventory for most of my playing. They do lots of damage. If you want to use them, go for it. There's no issues. Now, Yellow Cake. This gun is actually still insane. Some people that I know have just completely trashed the Yellow Cake. They said it's over. The Yellow Cake is bad. But no, it's actually really good still. Especially with the Red Anoint, and if you could get yourself a times 2 variant for bossing, you'll be set. If you could get a times 1 variant for mobbing, you'll be set as well. Now we have another back burner. This one unfortunately is level 57. I do have a level 60 on another character that I could dupe and transfer over, but it still does lots of damage. And as you can see, like the level 60 variant with bad parts can actually be out damaged by the level 57 variant with good parts, so it doesn't really matter. Now we also have some Plague Bearers at level 60 and 57. These do lots of damage for mobbing if you have a big group of enemies. Just shoot and things die. Now the complex route. I've got to address something with the complex route, and I might take it out of the build. If you spec into Torque Cross Promotion, it has a chance to double your splash damage radius, which will in turn double the complex route's damage radius, and this can actually down you, especially if you have AoE damage on your artifact. This will down you. It won't actually, like, it's not a possibility. It will. Trust me, I tried it and I was getting frustrated at it. But if you're not going to use AoE damage on your artifact, you can use it at the distance. Just be careful. Try to back up every shot. Otherwise, it's actually great damage. You can actually melt Trant and just other bosses in general with this gun. Now we still have some level 57 and level 60 URAD Sandhawks. They're good, but they're not as good as they were before because you can't actually like sustain the ammo all that much. But still. And now going on the shields, my preferred shield is actually the Transformer because of its tankiness. With this anoint, especially the 75% increased shields and health after exiting Iron Bear, they'll all go into your shield. But yeah, it's actually really good. I can't wait to get a level 60 version because it'll be even more tanky. If you want to go for damage, you can use an Old God for elemental damage, or if you go for flat out damage, 100% weapon damage with a one-shotter is just insane. This works well with multi-pellets weapon. If you won't use multi-pellet weapons like let's say a ×1 Dowsing Wad or ×1 Chaosin, use a legendary Am Shield because these will be better in terms of damage. Now the multivitamin is actually pretty good. It's more of a Iron Bear focused shield because all of these health bonuses are going to go to Iron Bear armor. But we're not actually spamming Iron Bear. We're not going to Iron Bear a whole lot. We're only going to Iron Bear to proc ASCs. Which I don't usually do often because these are passive ASCs in my opinion. Like after exiting Iron Bear, gain 75% increased shields is an ASC, but you don't actually need it all the time. So yeah, we got some more Blood Airs with 2 and 2 thin red line. We've got some artifacts. You can use whatever artifact you want. I don't recommend going Deathless because that's going to be a little bit less damage but more tankiness rather than going, you know, Pearl, which is my favorite way to use this build, the artifact spot. So now going to our skill tree, we're going to start with the green tree. We're going Cloud of Lead. We're maxing Cloud of Lead for ammo sustain and incendiary damage. We're maxing Stoke the Embers for better incendiary damage. We're going Redistribution for ammo sustain and health regen. The health regen is not a whole lot, but it's still health regen, which is fine. You get crits, you can sustain yourself a little bit better. It's always good to have. We're maxing out armored infantry in the red tree now. Armored infantry is a little bit of damage reduction, which you're always gonna have because your shields are always up. Unless if your shields aren't up, you're dead. So that's pretty much it. And we're getting gun damage when our shields are up, which we're getting a flat out gun damage boost all the time. We're not maxing out Loud Off Ingenuity, but we're putting 3 points into it because we need to move down the skill tree. But this is gonna boost our shield and shock damage resistance. They're all great for a Deathless style build. Now we're maxing out and putting more points into Thin Red Line to actually act as a Deathless instead. Usually, even with Deathless builds, people still spec into Thin Red Line, because it's more shields towards your overall health in general. Um, but having 2 points from your class mod gives you a spot for an artifact that you wouldn't normally have. So that's why I'm going with this type of setup. Now we're maxing out Drowning in Brass because that's at 3 stacks is a total of 60% gun damage, which is insane. Experimental munitions for a flat 15 damage, 15% incendiary damage on crits that gets boosted by Stoke the Embers. Now we're maxing out and putting 3 points from our class mod into Desperate Measures for a flat double gun damage boost. And we're also putting 3 points into Felix Doctrine. I would put more points, but I don't have the points to do that with the skill tree that I spec'd into. So yeah, we're putting 3 points into it. It's gonna give us a stacking gun damage boost and the shield boost when you kill enemies, which is great for takedowns and just general mobbing and stuff. Now Blue Tree is where everything is going to be crazy. Grizzled is going to be your Iron Bear cooldown skill because explosive punctuation has diminishing returns. Grizzled also has diminishing returns, but it states it has diminishing returns. Explosive punctuation doesn't state it, but it does. The diminishing returns aren't that bad. As long as you're getting kills and as long as you're just playing through a game, you're not really gonna miss Iron Bear. So it's either to get Iron Bear cooldown or to move down to the skill tree because we don't need Stainless Steel Bear or Deadlines. Now, Fire in the Skagden. This skill says it'll do 15% extra bonus incendiary damage when you do splash damage. Now, prior to Phase 2, this didn't scale well at Mayhem 10. 1 point into it was just enough to have a fire dot. But now, instead of 15% incendiary damage, it's actually 93 or so percent that'll add, because this apparently scales with Mayhem. Which makes Moze insanely good with splash damage weapons. In general, this tree got buffed a lot and is insane. Let's just move down the tree. Means of Destruction, Ammo Sustain with splash damage. Torque Cross Promotion, more damage. The splash damage radius isn't really all that useful, we don't really need it. Auto Bear, because Iron Bear now deals fuck ton damage and he can slag enemies with target softening, he can provide you good support, and he can actually draw aggro, which is nice. Pull the old pin for critical damage on your CMT, your cloning magnet tracker. This is for ammo sustain because it'll proc redistribution and give you ammo regen. Now we're maxing out Vampire. People don't really max out Vampire, but I like to max out Vampire because I don't like putting 5 points into Grizzled. It doesn't look really that good, in my opinion. But Vampire is just healing. Sometimes your CMT won't heal you, which is still a bug. I don't know why. Some grenades don't heal you at all. Like the X will only heal you on the first impact, and when it tases enemies, it won't heal you. Quasar and Stormfront are the same. But with the grenade we're using, we're always going to be healed. Pretty much. Always. Not always, but you get my meaning. You get what I mean. This is a good skill. It's Moze's HP regen skill. To the last, if we ever go down, we can throw grenades and get our 25% on grenade thrown anoint, which is just good when you're in a fight for your life. And short fuse, as I said, insane skill. 20% chance is actually a lot. It's the same as Megavore, so yeah. Let's go over and show the build. I'll actually run through all of Athena's, but I think I've got a safe quit to do the bossing. So there's that. I'm sorry. A little bit of a mess up. So for this part, I'll just use this setup. and show you what the Chaos can do first. As you can see, it's pretty dead. We're almost out of HP because barrels are actually very deadly. Because they do so much damage, barrels. They do insanely damage. Now let's use the yeah, reflex. Let's use the reflex. And look at that. That's a lot of damage for a shotgun on Moze. I tried using a what do you call that? I can't remember the name of what it was. Hold up. Yeah, so reflux. Whatever. I'm just saying nonsense at the moment. Let's swap out to a one-shotter with the Dowsing Rod. Dowsing Rod is just insane. So do bonus rad. And we'll do Dowsing Rod and Devastator. Let's do Devastator first. Just to show you guys what it can do. Just have Iron Bear out. Oh, that's enemy killed by Iron Bear. Iron Bear just one-shots things now. Kill you. Yeah, as you can see, like, I went down, but I got up instantly. It's not an issue. Enemy here. You are gonna reload a lot with this weapon, but it's honestly not that bad. You are gonna get more incendiary damage out of your splash damage weapon too. So if you can use that, go for it. Non-splash damage weapons work as well. Dowsing Rod for up there, just kill you, kill you, kill you. Just one-shots enemies, it's just that good. Yeah, that's right. Ow, so. Yeah, as you can see, I done myself, but that's mostly because I suck. This build is just really good in general. Torque cross promotion, how's yourself? Come on, get over here, get over here. Think. And for enemies that are like up there, just use the primary fire mode, then try to lob the shots. And this Nog doesn't want to get killed. Just over. Hey Nog. Yeah, you did. And I didn't show my modifiers. We actually have Murokin and Boomer. That doesn't really do much. Mob Mentality, enemies have more damage. Boundary Shoes, they do more damage when you're close. And Not Face, less damage for us when we're hitting crits. Which we should be hitting crits a lot of the time. But we don't care because we're Moze, and Moze is insane right now. So let's swap over some guns. Let's do, you know, Light Show. Let's do Gargoyle. Gargoyle's insane. Let's do. Probably, yeah. Let's go for a Monarch, and let's go for a Plague Bearer. We're gonna start with one Plague Bearer shot, unanointed, because we're not gonna use the splash damage anoint. Let's just swap to the Monarch and see what we can do. Yeah, we just melted these guys. Yeah, these guys just died. I died too. Yeah, this guy died. This guy died. Alright, let's just throw a CMT. Let's use the Gargoyle. Yeah, there you go. Some hits. Gargoyle spawns the Gargoyle spawns like little bubbles that shoot out and lob. Like we spawn, you know, little dart projectiles, but it can actually spawn like these big blobs that do like what 5 times the damage with a gun. That's pretty insane. Now let's go into Iron Bear. Iron Bear is also speed in this build. If you don't want to, if you want to use the Pearl instead of a Snowdrift, Iron Bear is actually going to be your speed. Just spam the jump button and forward, and you'll arrive a little bit quicker than if you try to slide without a Snowdrift. Or you can actually switch to Snowdrift. That's how you see it, how you like it. Yeah, we're gonna have to save quit because there's no enemies here. I sometimes like to shoot barrels when I see them, because that'll be your downfall. Like you can see, it does a little bit of damage. So we'll need to save quit about here when these drop. Let's just use the slideshow. The slideshow, it's insane. Come over here, dude. Come over here. And you over there. Stop right there, criminal scum. Alright, you're dead. And with this build, you can actually reload. We don't care if we actually are out of ammo or not. So it's cool. Everything's cool. So for one-shotting Tron, you basically want a one-shotter with ASC shock and your yellow cake. I'll show you in a minute. I'll just see if Tron is there. Tron's probably not there. Yeah, no, he's probably not there. So I'll save quit. Sorry for the wait. But this build is just insane. It took me a little bit of time to figure out what kind of Moze build I wanted to post for level 60. But considering my first Mayhem 10 Moze build was a Deathless Moze, I wanted to kind of update that a little bit. It's kind of a update, but I like this build a little bit more, and we're using a little bit of different items. So yeah, and we have a lot more range to use items. Like we have a lot more weapons that are versatile, or weapons that work in Mayhem 10 now, because they scale back the health and buffs a lot of weapons. So right here, let's just do this. Come over to Tron real quick. Just try to slide, no snowdrift. And hello, Tron. And we didn't one-shot him, but I've one-shotted him before. I can probably try to make like a little one-shot video and link it with this. This is actually a pretty good breaker. So yeah, this has been Joey's Gaming. This has been the Moze build I use for level 60. Insane damage. You should try it out. If you need any of the gear, I will be doing build drops with this build included in it. Probably later today or tomorrow. I don't know, but yeah. Hope you enjoyed the build video, even though I ramble a lot and I'm not editing my videos, so lots of this. But yeah, it's been Joey's Gaming. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.